and welcome everyone to our special interviews on the sidelines of the third African Startup Conference, which is taking place here at the Abdelatif Rahal International Conference Center, and which brings together over 25,000 participants, 500 exhibitors, and 45 African ministers under the theme of Reimagining Africa through AI. This conference is a platform for innovation, collaboration, and redefining what's possible for startups in this youngest and fastest growing continent in the world. So we're here to take you behind the scenes of this conference with special interviews that we're conducting to explore Africa's tech future. So help me welcome Yasmina Katizani, CMO for Interverse, and Montgomery Singman, partner of Radiance Strategic Solutions. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much. Let us start with you, perhaps, Yasmina. Can you tell us a little bit about your role and experience overall?
Sure. I am someone who's been working for the last 20 years in the edtech industry. And I enjoyed really kind of, deploying all the digital learning that is known right now. And it has been like a very good experience that took me through the gaming industry to some point. And as today, I'm trying really to push this industry through the African continent.
Moving on to you, Montgomery, can you speak a little bit about your role as a managing partner in Radiance Strategic Solutions and also your experience?
I have been in video game business for 38 years. I started as a programmer in the industry, very grassroots, and I worked on John Madden football at Electronic Arts. And I worked on Street Fighters at Capcom. And later, I ran my own development studios. So I make video games for 28 years. The past 10 years, I've been focusing on business development. I took Gordon Ramsay's IP and made a video game out of it. I took Bruce Lee's IP and put Bruce Lee in Temple Run. So I also licensed over 50 games into the Chinese market. So I primarily focus on strategy, but my background is deep in the operations. So what I do is I try to jumpstart what people are trying to do, and I provide solutions for them.
That's very impressive. So what actually brought you here today in Africa? Because it's your first time, as you told me earlier.
Yes, it's my first trip to Africa. Yeah, I'm very intrigued with the new emerging markets, and I think the timing is good now. I was involved personally with the rise of United States video game industry since the 80s. And I went to China in 2003, and I witnessed and participated the creation of the game industry in China. So I'm very curious. What is the state of video games in the African continent? And I have to come here. I had to come here to see it myself.
Why now?
Yes.
Why specifically at this very specific period of time?
Many things are basically primed. It's ready to go, primarily because of AI. I mentioned in China, they skipped the landline development. We used to have a phone at home.
Yes.
They didn't. They just got mobile phones, so they skipped the landline. And another example is credit cards. It was never popular in China, so they went straight to electronic payment. So they have Alipay and WeChat Pay, and they go to United States, they say United States is so backward. You don't have mobile phone payments. The reason is because they evolve so fast, they can just jump one generation of technology innovation. And I feel like Africa is the same way. So we don't have to go through all the pitfalls that all the other markets went through. We can embrace AI right now and speed up our video game production time and basically help us do things faster.
Nice perspective. Now to you, Yasmina, what brought you here today? How do you foresee things in the future?
Well, I think that it's the fact that I'm African. Yeah, this is very important for me, and it's very close to my heart. Being out for 20 years means that now, you know, sitting back, I can see the potential growing with this new generation. They are svavi, they are connected, and you can see that they want to learn. And as Mandy was mentioning, they can make the leapfrog to kind of move from one stage to another very easily. And this is where like Africa should take this, you know, opportunity to jump and be the leader. Because this generation in the next 20 years, they're going to be the consumer, but also the creator. I want Africa to be the creator and the one who is pushing its tradition, its history, its folklores, its languages out to the world. Created by African, and for international.
When we speak about creating and producing our own goods and everything else, we speak also about brain drains or brains drain and how to prevent talents to actually go from Africa to other countries.
That's a very, very good question.
How can we keep them, and do you plan to do anything in this case?
I mean, the first things to answer the first part of the question is, I wish 20 years ago that Africa could have kept me here to, you know, use my skills, my talent, my passion to make it happen. And this is where I'm back here to say, okay, guys, we can build something. We can build an ecosystem. We can build structures. We can build, you know, we can skill, you know, create centers to upskill people, reskill them in order for them to find jobs, to create jobs on the ground. So people don't need to go all the way to the US, all the way to China, wherever else. They can do it locally. That's my strong belief. So then instead of like having this migration flow to the other side, people will come to us to learn from us, to do business with us. And I think that it's feasible.
Yeah, maybe universities and institutions do have a very big and important role in this very specific aspect. So what is the future of AI in gaming and entertainment and in the whole industry, but in Africa, since we're talking about artificial intelligence in this very specific conference?
So that's actually a very deep question and long. The low-hanging fruit is to speed up the most laborious part of the productions, the asset generation. I do believe that the driver needs to be human. So humans are the storyteller, we're the captain, and the AI is our co-pilot to help us. Yes, but not the other way around. If you turn the seat around, you allow AI to tell the story, you're going to have a soulless product. So I would say low-hanging fruit is focus on the production, and then the real pain point in the global video game industry is the traffic. How do you attract eyeballs? Where do you find the players? That's a real problem the big companies are facing. And Google and Meta, they're basically taking away all the advertisement money. And in a way, they're not putting it back to video game industry. So we, from the video game industry, we're all trying to figure out how do we keep the ecosystem healthy, keep the money in the industry. So I would say we need local social media, we need local websites to create local traffic, and again, with local content. So you would have your own value chain, your own video game industry value chain. You have developers, you have publishers, you have payment gateways, and even ad network that's part of the video game industry. Then you have a real industry. Then you keep the local talent to prevent the brain drain. Because the ecosystem, viable ecosystem right now, is elsewhere. We need to create that in Africa.
In Africa. Speaking about Africa, what opportunities do you see in the continent here?
I believe all the technical know-how, all the technology thing, I think they're easy to get. You can buy it, you can learn it. The hardest part in video games, or actually as you say the soul, is the stories. So you need storytellers, you need to bring the deep cultural stories and the spirit and
African touch.
Exactly. And you're telling the African story. And I think the world is ready to embrace it. I watched Wakanda Forever, and I was fascinated. I want to see more African aesthetics in video games. So that's what I would like to see. And I think that will make the entire industry more vibrant, more colorful.
And more colorful. What's your take on that, Yasmina?
I think that's, Monty said everything. And again, one of the things that we align strongly on is, yes, we need to see more of the history of Africa. We have so much to say that has not been said by us, for us, and for the world to hear. And taking the examples of games in terms of, landscape. We have so many landscape around Africa. We have so many things that people don't know about, that it could be very exciting to put them there. And with AIs, I see it more as a tool rather than, it's a tool opportunity. Rather than scary things. It can help us get there, build all this kind of, digital assets easily. I came across one of the projects in Algeria, which is like a library of 1,500 artifact pieces that are stored in someone's house because he loves history. Imagine taking that, having it digitalized and using it in games, using it in entertainment. So this is our history put together.
Do you think there is anything specific we can do to teach the younger generation? Because our African continent is very young, the
Yes.
youngest continent.
Yeah.
So is there anything we can do to teach children or teenagers, young adults, to know more about how to use AI and how to implement that later on?
Do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
I think the first attitude we need to teach them is we can. It's right here. This is how to do it. So it's to tell them this is accessible to you. You can use it today, and show them by example how this can increase productivity, how this can quickly enrich their lives. Productivity is the number one, I think, is the number one reason people want to use AI. This is not about making meme graphics for novelty reasons. That's the worst usage of AI. I actually think we need to use AI to boost productivity.
Yeah, wisely.
Wisely. And also, when you're buying traffic, when a media company is buying traffic, there are companies using AI now to automate the whole process. Now, with that, you're talking about beyond human capabilities, because AI doesn't forget. With the cloud storage, it doesn't forget, and it can keep track of many things all at once. So it's kind of like having 10 or 100 human doing the buying traffic, but fully automated. So I think that's the next frontier. But with the younger generation, is to basically hold their hands and show them this is how you use it. I spend over $100 a month paying different AI services for my writings, for graphics generation, and my friends are using voice generation for their video games. So we can. So that's the important thing, because most people don't think this is relevant to them. They think this is something
so
far away, it's out of touch. But we need to show them, no, this is within your reach. It's in my phone. So this is the attitude change.
Okay.
Yeah.
To add on to what Monty is saying is that, yes, this young generation of African, I think that they have a mindset that is totally different from the old generation, because they want to learn. And I think that we have two options today, is that they can learn them by themselves and, kind of go and look for everything. But the best way is to also
supervise
get them,
everything.
exactly. It's like give them a framework, give them a learning pathway, because that could be a job opening for them. So it could be a business opportunity. It could be just like, knowing the basics sometimes. You don't need to kind of go through the whole things. And that's kind of where maybe we want to work on to help support the foundation on this. We don't need to go to university to do a design, but you can go through a very short course that is done properly. You need to have everything, ready for that, for them to jump in and make it easy.
Thank you very much, Yasmina, and thank you very much, Montgomery, for all the insights and for your time as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks
you.
for having us.
You're welcome, and thank you, dear viewers, for your attention and time. Until next time, take care.